What's going on, guys? The Comics Kid 2099 here, and I wanted to talk about a movie that I recently watched on Netflix called Galaxy Quest. This movie was from, I think, 1999 or early 2000s, and it stars Tim Allen, the late Alan Rickman, Sigourney Weaver, some other people, the guy who was in Iron Man 2 and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I can't remember his name, but he's that guy, the bad guy from Iron Man 2. It also has Tony Shalhoub in it. It has a whole bunch of actors that you've probably seen in something or another, like Dwight from The Office. He's a very minor alien character in this. Veronica Mars' dad from the Veronica Mars TV show. He's an alien in this. It's got Ethan Rayne from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm just going to keep saying this till I run out of people I know are in the movie. He's a bad guy in this movie. It's got a lot of characters, or actors, character actors, I guess you could say, who are in this, and you'll be watching this, you'll be like, oh, hey, it's that one guy. Not Moby from that one episode of How I Met Your Mother. He's a minor alien in this. Justin Long from those I'm a Mac and I'm a PC commercials. He's in this. I don't know when he got his start as an actor, but he looks pretty young here. So anyway, this is a movie I am embarrassed to say that I never saw until now, and I am kind of disappointed in myself for not getting around to seeing it until just recently. I really love this movie. It's a really funny, also really heartwarming movie, and I don't know how much I have to say about it. It is, in a lot of ways, a remake of The Three Amigos. The Three Amigos has Chevy Chase, Martin Short, and Steve Martin, and they are movie actors who were cowboys in the early 1900s, and then this Mexican village, they are being overrun by this warlord, and so they send for these guys to come and save them. The guys come and they think that it's just an acting gig, and then they find out that it's actually a real thing, and then they have to save these people who were naive enough to think that they were real heroes. It is exactly that plot to the letter. You've got this TV show called Galaxy Quest, and it is basically Star Trek in everything but name only, and Tim Allen is basically playing, what's-his-face, William Shatner. He's very cocky, very arrogant, and then he finds out that nobody actually likes him, shockingly, and nobody actually liked his show, which is what these two guys say, and he's eavesdropping on them. And so he kind of sort of has this mental breakdown, and then these aliens, they more or less kidnap him so that he can kind of be the arbiter to this conflict that they're having with this bad guy played by Ethan Rayne from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And he thinks that it's all a big acting gig until he's teleported back to Earth. Then he brings his fellow actors from the Galaxy Quest TV show, and they were all kind of stuck doing the convention circuit because nobody respected them as an actor anymore because they were all typecast as the characters that they played from Galaxy Quest. And then they all go back up into outer space, and then they all get caught up in this adventure where they have to save lives and stop the bad guy. And it's a very predictable plot, I think partly because it's a plot that you've seen a few times before. If you've seen A Bug's Life, if you've seen The Three Amigos, it's a lot like those stories. Even older stories like The Magnificent Seven or The Seven Samurai, although with both of those, the characters in those stories were not fake heroes. They were actual heroes who were brought together to fight injustice, but even those stories are very similar to this one. This is just going in the route of these guys are not actual heroes, and then they have to step up their game to save these people who think that they're heroes. It's a very predictable plot, and yet I find myself not caring at all. I really came to like each and every one of these characters, even the ones who don't really have a whole lot to do. Sam Rockwell is his name, the guy who was in Iron Man 2 and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Sam Rockwell and Tony Shalhoub, they are much more minor characters, and there's this other guy who kind of sort of plays the Wesley Crusher of the TV series, and now he's older, and he's on the convention circuit with them as well. Those three characters, they're not nearly as in the forefront as Sigourney Weaver, Tim Allen, or Alan Rickman. Those guys are much more main characters in the story than those other three. But even the minor characters, they still get stuff to do, and they still get to go through small arcs in this movie, which is nice to see, because sometimes you look at a Star Trek movie, which this basically is, and then a few of the characters will get something to do, but most of them are kind of in the background and don't really get to do anything but have a couple of lines of dialogue. And I really like that this movie, even though it is a parody movie, it still gives all of its characters its fair share of screen time. They all get a little arc. None of them are shafted, and I think that's really good. I think that's good that this movie is able to juggle all of that and not drop any balls at any point. Overall, if you are a huge fan of Star Trek, which I'm only a casual fan of Star Trek, and I found this to be really enjoyable and pretty easy to see what it's homaging, and it is an homage. It's a loving homage. It's not mean-spirited. It's not making fun of Star Trek or making fun of Star Trek fans. It is is a loving salute to the franchise. If you are one of those people, you are hearing me talk about it and you're thinking, oh, that doesn't sound like something that I would like to watch, it's a very enjoyable movie. I really liked it, and I like Star Trek quite a bit. Like I said, casual fan, not a huge hard Trekkie or anything like that, but I really enjoyed this movie, and I think that if you're into Star Trek, you probably would as well. And even if you don't care about Star Trek, if you like those kinds of movies that I talked about, like The Magnificent Seven, or A Bug's Life, or The Three Amigos, I was having trouble remembering all of those. If you liked all of those stories, then you probably would like A Bug's Life. Wow, now I can't even say the movie I'm reviewing. You would probably like Galaxy Quest as well. It's funny when it wants to be funny. It's heartwarming when it needs to be heartwarming. And there's a few moments that I'm a very callous, cold soul, but there were a few moments that almost brought a tear to my eye. They didn't actually bring a tear to my eye, but they came pretty close. And I won't spoil those moments for you in case you haven't seen the movie. And there probably are some people out there who haven't seen it, kind of like me. I was embarrassed that I had waited as long as I had to watch this movie. So if you have Netflix, you should go and watch this movie right now, if it's still on Netflix. It was whenever I watched it. So I don't think I have anything else to say about Galaxy Quest, so those are my thoughts on this movie. And a couple weeks from now, I will be reviewing another space movie that I was embarrassed to say I had never seen before reviewing it. So you guys can guess what that movie might be before I put up the video, or you can just wait until the video comes up, and then you can watch that one when it comes out in a couple weeks. So in the meantime, I have other videos coming out throughout the rest of this week, and videos coming out next week that you guys can check out. And I will see you guys in the future. Have a great rest of the day. Catch you later.